Dear the Star Beast, I am so sorry that I have misjudged you. I have significantly mistreated you. I am the most regretful for the things that I have said about you. This is my Star Beast apology video. Okay, only kidding. This is not a silly apology video. Kind of is, but it's also, I've watched the Star Beast 3 times since I did my main review for the Star Beast, and I have slightly different opinions. I now want to talk about that, but I also do want to say, I want to address some points made in the last review. So if you don't know, this is a podcast channel. Me and my co-host Connor usually sits right here, and we talk about Doctor Who every single week. Lately, we've been rushing out our reviews for the 60th anniversary specials, so we started with the Star Beast. That review is out. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really funny, and you should go check it out. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because we like to have a lot of fun here. We like to have a laugh, and I think that definitely ties into the points I want to make about our review. The first thing is that I said in the review of the Star Beast, I said that I was hungover when watching the episode, which I was. Wasn't the worst hangover in the world. I was just a bit hungover, and it was absolutely fine. But yes, as a lot of people have pointed out over on Twitter and in the YouTube comments, a lot of people have said, that hinders your viewing experience. And of course it does. And that's why I made a point about it in the review, that I was hungover, and I sort of hammed it up a little bit to try and draw attention to it. But that being said, it hindered my experience 100%. I think a lot of the problems that I had with the Star Beast, I think I was irked more by them probably because I was hungover. And so I want to sort of apologize for that purely because it's only a small voice. It's a voice that's no bigger than anyone else in the community. But through this podcast, I do have a voice in the community. And I feel like if I am putting out reviews and stuff like that, I need to put my best foot forward for us. And I don't think I did that with that review. Not apologizing for the review. I just think I should maybe have been, as much as we are a pretty unprofessional, intentionally unprofessional podcast, I think when it comes to reviewing new episodes and reviewing other people's work, I think you do need to have a little bit of integrity behind the professionalism, especially when we're trying to all as a community have fun and launch Doctor Who to all of our friends and family. I'll put my best foot forward in the reviews going forward, And the other thing, sort of, I guess, slightly relating to that is, Connor and I, we chat a lot of shit. We throw a lot of stuff out there, knowing that we're going to get some stuff back. I would never say anything in a pod that I wouldn't want someone else to say about the pod. And so when I said in the podcast, what a load of shit, I said that about the Star Beast, and it was obviously a joke, and I think that is kind of fine, and a lot of people no one has had a problem with it. No one said that no one's pulled me up on this, but it's been on my conscience from the moment we uploaded the episode. And the thing is, I wouldn't want anyone to turn around and say, what a load of shit about something that I've worked on. What a load of shit. It just feels a little bit distasteful and just unneeded. It was a joke. It was a bit of fun. But at the end of the day, it was unneeded. And, feel free. In fact, I encourage everyone in the comments section below to say, what a load of shit about this video. Because what a load of shit it is. It's an apology video that no one needs, but I need it for my conscience. Anyways, that's that sorted. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I've been thinking about it all day yesterday, and so here I am articulating it. But let's get to the real deal stuff, okay? Now that I've had time and have put myself in a good headspace to watch the Star Beast, I've watched it 3 times, okay? And I've got to say, my opinion hasn't really changed all that much, okay? I think the things that irked me in my first watch definitely irk me a whole lot less now. Things like the pacing, I think is a lot better than I thought it was. It's still flawed. I think the first act moves too quick for the first 10 minutes of it. And I think the third act is terribly paced. In fact, I think it's pretty bad. Second act is good, though. We slow down, have some moments, and the action scenes that complement that, I think, work really well. Talali does a great job at directing it. But I think for me, the Star Beast was missing some really great character growth and great storytelling, because for a long time Doctor Who has been it's just been good. It was great back in the day, back in the late 2000s, and then it has sort of been just good since 2013, 2014, and I've loved those eras. I love a lot about the Whittaker era. Capaldi's my favorite Doctor, but I think the storytelling of the seasons and a lot of the episodes and stuff, I think have just been good, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not an example that I would use trying to get people into Doctor Who. I miss when Doctor Who was consistently great, and Russell T Davies was definitely the man for that. He's written great TV since Doctor Who. He's written even better TV since working on Doctor Who than he did on Doctor Who. This guy is amazing, and I think for a long time, Connor and I went in thinking, it's time for Doctor Who to be great again. It's going to be really great. And it definitely can be. Wibble Yonder might be the best Doctor Who episode ever. Ncuti's Era, I am so ecstatic about. Everything I've seen about it, it just looks incredible, and I cannot wait for it. In fact, I've always been more excited for that era than I have been about these specials, but that's fine. I'm sure that a lot of people watched this special and thought, this is great, and that's good for you. Like, I do not have a problem with you. I'm not saying that my voice here is any more important than anyone else's out there. This is just my opinion. I don't think it's great. I think it's just good and nothing more than that. I think there's parts of it that are bad, and I think the episode gets bad at the end. I think the writing, I love Russell. Everyone's going to be shocked and gasping around the place. I love Russell, but I do think a lot of the writing in the back half of the episode is lazy. Teleporting in the Raft Warriors with a Sonic, that was just a lazy storytelling convention to get them from here to there. And then the whole way the meta crisis plays out, I think, was cheap. You can just let go. You can just let go of this plot point that we've been holding on to for 14, 15 years. I don't think that's the right way to handle it. And I know there's deeper thematical messaging within it, but at the end of the day, it's a big sci-fi plot point, and I don't think that you can just write it out by just saying, let it go. I don't think you can. No matter where your intentions lie with it, no matter how good-hearted those intentions are, I think it felt cheap in the end. It felt a cheap way to handle a plot point that we've been stewing on for years. Maybe we need to learn to let it go, but it felt cheap, and that I hate that. The other big things for me is particularly with Donna and Rose. I felt like these were two really good outlines of characters, okay? Let's start with Donna. I think that we never got to see enough of Donna's life pre-bumping into the 14th Doctor. We didn't get to feel about how much less happy she was about her life. We got it explained to us. We got it told to us. We never got to see it. Because the thing is, we see her so happy with her family. And that's great. No problem with that. But then what's her big flaw? Her flaw is she feels like she's missing something. By the end of the episode, she gets it back. I don't think that's character work. That's just her remembering something, okay? Then again, it's better than Clara Oswald getting her memories back in a 2-second scene in Twice Upon a Time. I would like to have seen her clearly consistently sad about something. Maybe her work life is boring. I know she lost her job or whatever, but maybe I wanted to see more of her world so that then we can see at the end of the episode just how much more getting her memories back, knowing the things that she's done, how much that can change her own perception of herself. You know, she knows she's a great mother. She knows that stuff. I think we needed her to be more doubtful of herself and unsure of herself, and then seeing her come full circle by the end of the episode and being like, wow, I've done some incredible things and I'm doing some incredible things still. I felt like this should have served as a reminder for her to be like, I'm being a good parent. Like, I'm understanding everything my daughter's going through and I'm doing everything I can for her. I feel like that would have been a good plot point. So that brings me quite naturally to Rose, who I think, like I said, I love. In the review, I was very clear. I love the way that they handle all the trans stuff. I'm not quite sure how much the trans storyline should be linked to the Dr. Donna meta-crisis, whatever storyline. For me, those two didn't click together at the end. I didn't think that was the right solution to the problem. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I think the messaging was really in the right place and done really well for the most part in the episode. Now, it didn't feel too ham-fisted. The Doctor talking to Meep about pronouns and stuff was important, and I love the way the Doctor reacted to it. I love seeing Sylvia just be obviously someone from an older generation and make a mistake in it. She's not used to it. She's learning. I really adore the way it was all handled. But that being said, I do think that there wasn't enough of Rose in the episode. I think we got a few scenes that did establish the problems she was having with that coming of age part of her. But I wanted to see, I guess, just a little bit more of her character, a little bit more of her world, how her world was impacted by this change that she's gone through. And then the big thing for me is she sort of disappears in the last 20, 25 minutes of the episode and then rocks up and saves the day. And all of a sudden is part of the meta crisis. And it's all sort of like, it just doesn't quite work for me. Like I needed her to be established more beforehand. I think I needed to see more from her and how she did have a bit of that Donna regen energy going around in her. I needed to see more of that. I know we got the stuffed toys, and that was quite obvious, but that's just a memory thing, right? I guess we needed to see, maybe she was a little smarter than the rest. Maybe there was just something else. There was just something missing, okay? And that was a big shame for me. More than happy for Yasmin Finney to save the day. I think she's great. I love her in Heartstopper. I suppose I needed more of a character arc, because in the end, she then goes, I've for the first time ever, I feel like myself, and I just don't know what in the storyline necessarily led her to get to that point. I guess it's implied that the getting rid of the Dr. Donna side of her has made her feel that way, but it didn't click for me, that whole part. It was just very silly, and a lot of stuff in that last act was contrived, splitting the room up the way it did. Why does a spaceship have a divide in the middle of the cockpit or whatever? Why does it have that? I don't know. You tell me. Why does the spaceship have to blow up 100 kilometers around it in order for it to take off? Doesn't make sense. If you want to park at your garage, you have to park 100 kilometers away from your garage and then walk to your garage. These are just the little problems in the script that I don't think great Doctor Who has. They just felt a little bit too convenient, and I'm very sorry that I feel this way. I want to love this episode. And I think the fact that I'm here doing a second review proves how much I want to love this episode, and that I'm not just sat here having a hangover shit talk about the episode. I do think there is things wrong with it, but I want to love it. The other thing is, I just really wish that we got a little bit more of the Doctor feeling like he'd sort of had an effect on Donna, and her losing the memories, maybe feeling a little bit more guilt for that. The fact that he just, wanders into the noble household and is sat there going, as long as I don't say that I'm the Doctor, it's fine. He spent the end of time, hiding behind doors, making sure that Donna couldn't see him. Her head exploded when she saw him last. And now he's just like wandering in, and I know there's the odd line here or there. He's saying to Ruth Madley's character, who's a great character, by the way, he's saying to her how he's not going to be the one to kill her. Yet, 10 minutes later, he's just walking into the house. He's, I'm not the Doctor. Don't worry. I'm not the Doctor. I'm just some guy. And as long as you think I'm just some guy, that's okay. It just, that I didn't feel the stakes of their relationship at the end of the day. I didn't feel the stakes of any of the characters. I just felt bloody void of emotion at the end. Oh, I've revealed my receding hairline. That's a problem. I didn't feel any of the emotional stakes at the end, and that's a shame. It really is a shame to me, because it didn't recapture nostalgia for me. It didn't. Yeah. But I really want to say that I love that TARDIS scene. I don't love the TARDIS. I think it's a feat that 800 roundels of lights. I think it's a feat that it exists. I think it is an awesome, incredible set. But it's not my TARDIS, you know what I'm saying? Hashtag not my TARDIS. I want something that feels warm. I want places to sit and talk. This is just like corridors after corridors after corridors. It's big on the inside, and it's fantastic. I think it's such a feat. It's incredible that we have it. It's incredible that Doctor Who's been given so much care to build this thing. I just think sometimes it's like, we have it. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with all these columns and what are we going to do with all these roads, these bridges? They're great, they're there. I love that it's accessible. Do we need 100 hallways going off in this big white environment? I feel like at the end of the day, every TARDIS scene, they're just going to be stood at the console. And I hate that. We had that for most of Chib's era. I need like a little chair here and there. I need a little hat rack. Don't have any of that here. Maybe it will come with time. Anyways, this has been so raw and just a bunch of random thoughts. I just had to get the stuff in the video earlier off my chest, and just wanted to correct how I feel. I wasn't wrong about the Star Beast. I still think it's not a great episode. I think it's perfectly fine. I think 6 out of 10. I'm sticking with that. Good enough for me. I know a lot of people love this episode. Good for you. I know a lot of people don't like this episode. Also, good for you, or sad for you. I have a lot of faith that Russell will bring it home, especially with Warbler Yonder. I just know Shooty's Era is going to be good. I've got a good feeling about Shooty's Era, guys. So even if these specials don't work for everyone, I'm sure Shooty's Era is going to unite us. We are going to love it. I love Doctor Who. I want to put that out there. I don't want to be that guy that sits around shit talking Doctor Who day after day. There were just things in the Star Beast that just didn't actually work for me, okay? So, yeah, anyways, that's enough from me. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be covering Wild Blue Yonder not long after the episode drops. I will not be hungover for it. I actually will be driving back from a wedding. And so I'll be fully recovered from this wedding, and I will sit down with a nice coffee and maybe a sandwich, and I'll watch Wild Blue Yonder. Okay, guys, daily uploads coming out at the moment, so make sure you stick around for those. Love you very much. Sorry if I made you sad, and I'm sorry I said what a pile of shit about the Star Beast, and we'll see you in another video very, very soon. Goodbye.